Hello, my name is Cesar. I am an enrolled agent and a tax court practitioner. This is a video that I had together with a tax professional in Spain. He helps some of my American clients in Valladolid, but he can help anybody anywhere in Spain. So if you're an American or any expat living in Spain or coming to Spain, first time in Spain, you can reach out to him so he can help you take care of your Spanish tax obligations. During the call, we had some technical issues, so we couldn't share our info properly. So here's my name, my email, my number in Europe, my number in the US, and the name of my Facebook group that you can join. I am an enrolled agent and tax court practitioner. His name is Juan Carlos, and that's his email, his phone number, his address, and he's been doing this for a long time. So hopefully you learn something from this video. If you know someone who can use this information, share it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions, feel free to email us or you can send me a text message in WhatsApp. Okay, here we go. I thank you, Carlo, that you're giving us this time. I appreciate that, and hopefully some people get some questions answered. And Carlos is an economist with 27 years of experience in tax consulting. He specializes in individuals, the self-employed, and a small business. And he actually helps some of my clients to do that, and some of them also have businesses, so they have to worry about paying employees, they have to worry about paying Social Security, and so on. So I will also let him introduce himself a little bit in English. After that, we agree that he is going to speak Spanish. I will translate, because some of these tax terms don't translate well into English. So like, he doesn't want to mislead anybody and create some kind of confusion. But also do not take this presentation as tax advice, because to give a proper tax advice, anybody has to know the details of your situation. So hopefully we answer some of your questions, but if you have more, about Spanish law, tax law, reach out to him. And if you have questions about US law, then reach out to me. As you probably already know by now, if you are a US citizen, you have to file your US taxes no matter where you are. Most of us hopefully don't pay any tax because there are some benefits that we can use. But the first step is we have to pay taxes in our local jurisdiction, right? And then we worry about also paying US taxes. So Carlos, introduce yourself a little bit more, and then we can start the dialogue.
Hi, Cesar. Thank you. Thanks for contact to me, and we can speak and talk about Spanish tax and situation of expats of USA in Spain. So I want to be very careful about this, and so I would like you translate for me. And well, we are here in Spain, Valladolid, and we have experience with other expats from USA, so we can help you and answer all doubts you can take. So I don't know how much I can say.
I think that's enough. We can start with the basics. So, Carlos, alguien que emigra a España, ¿cuándo necesita empezar a llenar y pagar impuestos españoles? So somebody who comes to Spain, when he has to start filing and paying Spanish taxes?
Yes, a person is resident in Spain when he or she lives 183 days in Spain. Okay, so they must to declare all all his incomes, earnings from all over the world.
Okay.
He must declare here in Spain.
Okay. ¿Y qué pasa cuando a alguien le dan una residencia permanente o una residencia, una visa sin fines de lucro o una visa estudiantil? So what happens if somebody gets a permanent resident in Spain, a visa that is not without able to work, or a student visa? Do they become a tax resident or not?
Ya.
Okay, so
Igualmente.
So the moment someone has a Spanish paper that's saying you are okay to be here, they have to worry about, do I have to pay taxes or not? Al momento que alguien le dan una visa, una residencia, ya tiene que pensar desde cuándo y cómo va a tener que declarar sus impuestos en España.
Sí, porque en el momento en el que pasen esos 183 días, 183 days, es residente.
Okay.
They are resident, so they must declare here in Spain.
Okay.
En un primer momento no, digamos, puedes decirlo, es decir, si llega a finales de año no sería el caso, pero sí al año siguiente. ¿De acuerdo?
Okay. So if you have to start counting, he said he has to start counting when you arrive 183 days, and if you are in Spain 183 days, you need to start thinking about paying and declaring taxes in Spain. I have some questions here that a lot of people have asked me, so I will ask you now, okay? So, for example, an American that is, and this happens a lot, an American that is an employee from a US company. So he's working in the States and he's a salary employee. And then he moves to Spain and the company say, we want you to continue to be an employee for us in Spain. Do they have to declare that income in Spain? So si alguien es un empleado en California, digamos, y se muda para España y la compañía para la que trabaja le dice que continúe trabajando, pero como empleado, no como self-employed, no como autónomo, esa persona tiene que declarar ese salario que recibe de la compañía estadounidense una vez está en España.
Sí, de nuevo, por el paso del tiempo, por los 183 días.
Okay.
Si no tenemos el otro caso que es que únicamente esté menos días, pero también, por ejemplo, tuviera su principal fuente de ingresos fuese esa, también sería residente en España.
Okay, so he said, yeah, counting the time 180 days, but also if you make Spain your primary like the place where you're going to live, it's called, the place of domicile or place of abode, then you also, so it's 183 days or you become a resident of Spain, then you start paying. Carlos, one question that people ask is, are they going to get in trouble if they continue working for this company? Because, that company is in the United States. They are okay with the US, but now they have an employee in Spain. Is the person going to get in trouble, or is that something that the company of Spain has to do, file something with the Spanish authorities? La gente pregunta que si se mudan en esta situación, van a tener problemas con las autoridades españolas al recibir ingresos de una compañía estadounidense, o es la compañía estadounidense la que tiene que llenar algún tipo de reporte por tener a un empleado en España.
La responsabilidad, el problema, digamos, es de la persona, puesto que la compañía está en Estados Unidos. Entonces es la persona que vive en España quien tiene que declarar.
No, eso es, I understand that, but what I mean is like, if the Hacienda finds out that there is a company who has an employee in Spain, but they are not registered, they are not incorporating in Spain, will the person get in trouble or they are not doing anything wrong? O sea, la persona va a declarar sus impuestos como debe de ser, pero si la hacienda se entera de que hay una compañía estadounidense con un empleado en España, pero esa compañía no se ha registrado, no paga seguro social en España, etcétera, el tributario tiene algún problema o eso es,
No, la responsabilidad de la empresa sería de la empresa, sí.
Ok,
No,
so la empresa es la que tiene que ver con si es que tienen que hacer algo
correcto.
en España. Ok, muy bien.
El empleado, el problema del empleado en este caso es declarar las rentas en España, como residente o no residente.
Okay, so if you are getting a salary from a U.S. company, your obligation is to declare your income. Whatever the company has to do or doesn't have to do, that's something that they have to deal with. And actually, in fact, now in these days of globalization and everybody working from home, there are a few companies out there who help, employers hire people, in other countries. This is not the topic of this presentation, but there is already that going on. I have another question here. Okay, so what about another situation is that somebody, for example, is teaching English or doing anything else on their own, okay? They are in the United States, they move to Spain but with a visa that doesn't allow them to work, and they are afraid that, they have to make a living, so they are working, but they're working for clients in the US. Now they are living in Spain. What do they have to do? So, ¿qué pasa con esa gente que tiene algún negocio y trabaja en línea? Está en Estados Unidos, se mudan a España con una visa que no les permite trabajar en España, pero ellos continúan sirviendo a sus clientes. ¿Qué es lo que tienen que hacer ellos? Porque, o sea, está la pregunta de inmigración y la pregunta tributaria. O sea, ¿cuál es la solución ahí?
Con respecto a inmigración, no hay problema. No hay problema. No pierden la visa.
Okay.
Ni ese tipo de visa digamos, que en principio no se lo permitiría, no es problema. Puesto que están haciendo trabajos o realizan una actividad para clientes fuera de España.
Okay.
Pero, pues, evidentemente, deberían declarar sus impuestos en España y regularizar esa situación.
Okay. So basically, there is no problem, but you still have to pay your Spanish taxes, if you are required, and try to. Ha dicho que tal vez sería mejor si pueden cambiar su visa de no lucrativa a lucrativa, ¿no? Si es que es.
Sí, eso sería conveniente. Sí.
So he said that it would be cleaner if after a while you can change your non-lucrative visa to lucrative. And I don't know the terms of Spanish visa, so I apologize. Thank you, Carlos. One other question. Some people said that, like students, and I don't know if this is true, that students are allowed to work 20 hours per week. And the same situation, can they work online, bill clients, in the US? Will they put at risk their student visa? So la gente que es estudiante, ellos me han dicho que han averiguado que pueden trabajar 20 horas en España.
Correcto.
Y se preocupan de que bueno, si trabajo y le envío mis facturas a estadounidenses, me voy a poner en problema. ¿Qué
no, con la visa de estudiantes, student visa, pueden trabajar. Lo que pasa es que con unas condiciones, únicamente 20 horas a la semana.
Right.
Ese es el principal límite, ¿de acuerdo?
Okay, so basically, you have a student visa, you work 20 hours, you bill your client, that's fine, but still declare taxes in Spain so that you're filling out. I mean, not breaking any immigration or tax law. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is something I know, and this is something that I really want to talk about. When you receive, there is a tax treaty between the United States and Spain that says that you are going to pay tax on Social Security to the country that pays you the Social Security. So the most common situation for Americans is you work in the United States, you retire, you're getting U.S. Social Security, you move to Spain, now you're receiving U.S. Social Security. One of my clients actually said he had to pay tax on that, and then other people I found that they got audited by Hacienda and that they lost the audit, they had to pay tax on Social Security. Then reading the treaty and speaking to Carlos, I found like, no, that is not true. Otra situación es lo del seguro social, Carlos, que el tratado entre España y Estados Unidos dice que solo el país que lo paga es al que hay que pagar impuestos, ¿correcto?
Las públicas en Estados Unidos, te lo he dicho al revés.
Okay.
Públicas en Estados Unidos, las privadas en España.
Okay, so,
perdón,
okay.
he equivocado el término.
Okay, so we apologize, guys. So Social Security would only pay tax in the United States, not in Spain. But a private pension would pay tax in Spain. So like a 401k, or if you have any other private pension, you will pay tax in Spain, even though it's a pension from the United States. So what you wouldn't pay tax on in Spain is U.S. Social Security, okay? And then I asked him before, what happened when Hacienda audited somebody and you know, they asked them to pay tax, can you get it back? We already talked about this before and I already have the answer, so I don't have to ask him. He said that if the case is not closed, you can try to get it back. But if the case is closed, then depending, it's better to just let it be and then start not paying from now on. And, you know, that's because there is a cost on filing like a tax dispute. And this is the same in the United States. Sometimes some clients owe $300 and it's the IRS who made the mistake, but I tell them, look, we can fight this, but it's gonna take a lot of months and a lot of time. You may just wanna like pay and, you know, get it over with. I think we're done with what we had prepared. So like if anybody wants to ask a question, raise your hand and then you can ask whatever you want. Okay, Noam Boni, what's your question?
Yes, hi, thank you. So my question is around autonomo, or so what if I'm self-employed in the United States?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a single member LLC, mm-hmm. and clients are in the United States, but I'm living in Spain. So I guess my first question is, and I think I am liable for that income, that's my understanding. My second question is, can I keep that structure or do I have to open an autonomo in Spain in that case?
Okay. Carlos, so he said that, you know, he has an LLC. I think this is like Sociedad Anónima equivalent, right? In the está en Estados Unidos. Cuando alguien tiene una LLC es como que si no existiera. Es solo para limitar la responsabilidad legal civil de la persona. La LLC no tiene que declarar impuestos. Él pregunta, ¿lo puede dejar así y declarar los impuestos en España o tiene que abrir una entidad en España para estar bien con la ley?
Es decir, tiene una empresa en Estados Unidos y está haciendo una actividad en España.
Pero de autónomo, o sea, sería como una sociedad limitada en España, similar, o sea, que no...
Pero quiero decir...
Esas personas, ¿sabes? Como un cliente que creo que nosotros tenemos que tiene sociedad limitada, pero esa sociedad limitada no llena su declaración separada, sino que todo va como que si fuera autónomo. Esa es la situación de él en Estados Unidos y quiere saber si tiene que abrir una entidad en España para estar bien o puede simplemente seguir trabajando como autónomo sin tener que abrir otra negocio.
Si trabaja y realiza servicios o lo que sea desde España, debería estar o como autónomo, self-employed,
uh-huh.
o crear una sociedad.
Pero no tiene que crear la sociedad, puede seguir simplemente como autónomo.
Sí, eso es lo que se llama empresario individual, ¿vale?
Ok. ¿Y qué recomiendas tú? ¿Qué recomiendas tú?
Ser empresario individual.
he said that you don't have to open a new entity. You are basically a individual entrepreneur, so like self-employed. Like when you file Schedule C in the U.S. without filing an LLC, right? Because you can do that. You file an LLC to limit your liability and also to have like a credit history and all that, but you can do it without the LLC. He said that in Spain you don't have to open something new, but you pay your taxes like autonomous.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tim Kershaw.
Yeah, hi there. My question was in regards to, well, two questions, but maybe one just for the moment. You mentioned obviously Social Security in the United States, and it's only taxable in the States, not in Spain. I believe my understanding was. However, in the European Union, if you are working even in the United Kingdom post Brexit, or you have a state pension from the United Kingdom, that's taxable in Spain. So I'm just wondering if it's a peculiarity of the US system because of a certain bilateral agreement, or whether it would apply to other social security systems in addition.
I can answer that question, Carlos. Si me permite, yo sé cómo. That is a particularity between the United States and Spain because the treaty is between the United States and Spain. There is also a treaty, for example, between the United States and the UK. But to answer your question, we will have to read the treaty between the UK and Spain. I am not qualified to interpret UK law. Carlos could probably interpret Spain-UK law. But you reach out to him so he can answer your question. Because that's a special. Every treaty, even the treaties that the U.S. have, are not the same. Like there are some treaties that are better than others. So yes.
Okay, that's okay. That was all I wanted to understand, because I hadn't realised that was the case for Social Security. I've always worked on the basis that if it's taxable, then you pay it in the country of your residence regardless. And that was the situation. But maybe it was just to clarify that point.
That's great to know. My question also is, the 401ks then are taxed twice? They're taxed in the United States and in Spain?
No, they are taxed in the country where you're a resident of first. Then you also have to declare it in the United States, but you can take a foreign tax credit for taxes paid to Spain, Germany, no matter where you are. If you're paying tax on some kind of income, in this case 401k. So let's say, let's pretend that you 401k of $100,000 and you pay $30,000 to Spain. By the time you declare, you file your 1040 in the US, you declare $100,000, but then you take a credit, and most of the time, taxes in Spain, the UK, Germany, Austria, and Italy, they are higher than the US. So you end up paying zero taxes in the US after all that. So the 401ks are taxed in Spain. Social Security is what is not taxed in Spain. It's only taxed in the United States.
Okay, no double tax. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Noam, Bonnie?
Yes, thank you. Another question I had is, do funds in private retirement accounts, such as IRA, do they count toward wealth tax, which I believe is called patrimonio?
Okay. Carlos, los fondos que se encuentran en las pensiones privadas cuentan para pagar el impuesto de riqueza. O sea, eso que se paga solo por
el impuesto de patrimonio en España.
Patrimonio, sí, él dijo patrimonio, sí. ¿Cuentan las pensiones privadas?
Sí, pero hace falta 1 millón de euros.
Okay. Yes, it counts, but after 1 million euros.
Yeah, so the 1 million that's the general exemption for a couple, right? Or regardless of that. So I know that each person has 500, depends on the where you live, but about 500,000 euros are exempt per person. So if we are a couple, it's 1 million. And then in addition to that, another million if it's in retirement accounts? Is it
Okay.
special?
Right, I understand. So he's asking, he thought that the exemption was $500,000 per person. I'm sorry, disculpa, Carlos. Él pensó
Sí.
que la excepción era $500,000 por persona o 2 millones para las personas casadas. ¿Cuánto es por persona primero, la excepción?
1 millón por persona, por contribuyente.
Ok.
1 million by person.
Y la otra pregunta es, esa es la excepción general. ¿Existe otra excepción especial para las personas pensiones privadas o es 1 millón y ahí? O sea...
Es patrimonio por 1 millón. Suman las pensiones, los bienes, las casas, etcétera. 1 millón.
Okay, it's just 1 million for everything.
And is that per person or for a couple?
Per person.
So 2 people are 2 million are exempt?
So 2 personas casadas serían 2 millones, right?
Ya.
Does that include property?
One more time, please.
Does that include property you own?
You mean like your house?
Yes.
Eso incluye todo, ¿no? Incluyendo la residencia donde uno vive. Esa excepción de 1 millón.
No, la vivienda habitual, no.
Gracias.
Well, you guys speak Spanish. I think.
I wish.
Okay. No, you have another question or anybody?
Oh, no, sorry. My hand is still raised. Let me take it down.
Okay.
I'm still surprised that there were 1 million because I read 500,000, but that's great.
Okay. All right. Well, if you don't have any questions, I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see our contact information. It's going to be the big one. I couldn't figure it out, so I apologize. Oh, wait, Josh Lim has a question. Josh, what's your question?
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Cesar. I figured I just wanted to ask because I'm 30 years old, so I'm quite young. But I figured I'd ask because preparing to possibly move, I was told, or I've first had 401ks. So I was told, I don't know, what is the treatment exactly for Roth IRAs? I was told that the treatment for them much worse. Let's say I have one, and then I start withdrawing it when I'm old. It's already in the US. I don't know how it is taxed in Spain for 401ks or traditional IRAs. I understand that will be taxed or have the US, but I don't know what it is or the because like if you don't have a Roth, they kill you. So I don't know if that is.
All right, Josh, you were cutting off there, so I'm gonna try to. I think I understood what you mean, so I will try. Carlos, él está diciendo que en Estados Unidos hay una pensión privada que se llama Roth IRA y la diferencia entre una pensión IRA solamente es de que esta pensión, el dinero que pones, ya has pagado impuestos sobre eso. Entonces, cuando lo sacas, ya no tienes que pagar. Si es que tienes 59 años y medio y has tenido la cuenta por 5 años, pagas impuestos antes de ponerlo, pero cuando lo sacas ya no pagas impuestos. So, en Estados Unidos nunca paga impuestos. ¿Cómo lo trataría España? ¿Hay que declararlo o no?
Porque ya no paga impuestos ahora porque ya los pagó antes.
Claro, sí.
Bien, es buena pregunta, sí, es. It's a good question. Creo que podría tratarse como si ya hubiese pagado los impuestos correspondientes, pero habría que verlo. Es un caso muy específico que aquí en España no se da.
Okay,
entonces habría que verlo, ¿eh? Es complicado, pero en principio sí tendría que declararlo y podría tener exención por los impuestos pagados, pero
tendría que también estudiarse el tratado para ver
claro,
si hay
pero
algo ahí. Okay.
Al ser privada, César, en teoría tributaría en España. Habría que ver si existe esa posibilidad de deducirse los impuestos ya pagados. Okay. No lo sé.
Josh, I don't know if you can hear me, but we couldn't hear you very well. And Carlos said that...
I can hear you, don't worry.
Oh, okay, cool. So that's a very unique question because that does not exist in Spain. There is an option that he and we can look at into making an argument that he shouldn't pay taxes because the taxes were already paid. But this is a question that we will have to look into the case law and the treaty to really give you an answer. So unfortunately, right now, the answer is it's a possibility, but we don't know. So
that's perfectly fine. I thought it would be a fairly specific question, but thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
okay.
Yeah, I look forward to hopefully, when I get there in 30 years, I will cross that bridge.
Well, Josh, I'm sorry. Can I ask? Actually, if that's your, if you are 30 years and you are planning to move to Spain in 30 years, and you're,
Oh no, I'm moving there now. So I partially came here because I wanted to hear what the tax treatment was for remote workers. So I will actually be working for my US employer, but I will be on a visado no lucrativa. So what I figured was initially it was that, but then I figured, if I end up deciding to retire in Spain, I would ask a retirement specific question because the topic came up.
Oh,
I might be able to help a bit on this one, Cesar, if you like.
go for it.
Full disclosure, so I'm actually a financial advisor. I'm qualified in Europe and the United States. So this is one of the reasons why I was interested to join in today, because I'm sure lots of questions like this would come up, which, I'm still working my way through the various laws. The last time, obviously with the Roth, it's a little bit of a strange one. The most equivalent product that I've really seen, although it's not a pension per se, is like a life assurance contract in Spain, whereby your initial capital, your cost basis, is not taxed when you take withdrawal, and you have a deferral and any growth that you make, and then when you take the growth, you're taxed a percentage on the gain that you've made as a result of that. So there is a similar product, but it's not a pension in the sense that you can only access it from a certain age. If you want to, you can access it at any time. That product is subject to wealth taxes, though, although there are certain loopholes as well that you can look at if you wanted to reduce wealth tax in that regard. But the standard IRA for you, Josh, and I've spoken to a tax specialist on this, and you can actually contribute into a standard IRA account in the United States and claim the tax relief against your earnings in Spain. But of course, the annual contribution is only €2,000 in Spain. So you can do it, but it's not going to create a huge difference for you, because if you think about that, unless obviously they index or increase that allowance, over the next 30 years, that's only $60,000 or €60,000, sorry, that you're getting in tax relief. So it's not an absolute retirement plan, should we put it that way, based on what the current allowances are. Does that help?
I think it does. Especially like for me, these are things that I am starting to think about, especially with the fact that I currently make forced 401k contributions to a retirement plan here in the US. Obviously, that's money that I can't touch now, but I want to make sure that, let's say, if I do end up deciding, okay, I'm going to move to Spain permanently when I retire, this is money that, when I do start touching it, I'm not going to get such a big tax hit. At the same time, it's also considering how to grow wealth, considering that I will probably end up either living in Spain for the long term, or I maintain residency in both Spain and the United States. So I want to make sure that I'm in the clear in terms of taxes.
Yeah.
Tim, may I ask you, so you know already that this is allowed in Spain, that these life insurance contracts, that the people will pay tax in Spain only in the gain, but not in what they put in?
No, exactly. I've used it lots of times for individuals that retire over here that want to invest a sum of money and get an additional tax benefit in the process.
Okay. Also,
That's
just
all. Sorry, Caesar. I should add though that won't work if you're a US citizen. So it's only for non-US because in the US the life. I'm sorry. Yeah, the IRS will look through that and tax it. And if you're invested in the type of funds that you need to use, for what we call a Spanish compliant life assurance bond. In the US, those are taxed pretty heavily, as if basically you own those companies. Is the equivalent kind of tax regime, so it's not very efficient in that regard. Just in terms of it equivalent to a Roth IRA, that's the sort of the most similar product that I know of, and the tax treatment on.
thank you, Tim. That's really helpful. I want to add though, Josh, that guys, I'm gonna have to share our contact information in that big screen. I tested this before, but something went off, I guess. So, do you see our contact information in here?
Yeah, maybe you can also share it on the event page when we're done.
That is a good idea. Anybody else has any other question?
Cesar, just I understand what Carlos does. What are you a tax advisor in the United States? I missed that piece.
Yes. So I started with H&R Block, and I got in. I was an expat myself because I immigrated first to the U.S. and then to the Czech Republic, and I myself didn't even know I had to file U.S. taxes until my children were born. So then I started learning. H&R Block hired me. I got experience with expats because they always came to me. And then I just kept learning more and more. So now I'm an enrolled agent and tax court practitioner. I live in the Czech Republic. And, yes, I am a U.S. Tax advisor. Carlos is a Spanish tax advisor.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
That's what we do. Is that it, guys?
I took a screenshot, so I have your contact information, Cesar. Thank you.
Yeah, we were planning to have that show it, do it, but I am sorry.
It's good.
It's my mistake.
We can see.
Right. So, no, but anybody has any more questions, or you're good?
Thank you.
No. Okay. Well, Carlos, thank you very much. We might do another one of this, depending on what the need. We were thinking about talking about the tax treaty. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to send us an email, or if you have questions about Spain, write Carlos, and if you are about the US, write me, and maybe you need both of us so that you coordinate. So thank you for attending. Have a nice rest of the day, and talk to you soon. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Cesar. Muchas gracias, Carlos.
Thank you, guys.
Gracias, Carlos. Adiós.
Bye.
Chao.
Gracias.